Now for the latest from Parliament, Xolani Mbanjwa, our business editor there. Xolani, good morning. What's the latest there?
Good morning, Stephen. Yes, indeed, it's getting closer to the hour, 2 p.m., when Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana will present that mid-term budget policy statement. I'm joined, as we've been giving you more running coverage and build up to this from political parties. I'm joined by the leader of Rise Mzansi and the chairperson of Parliament Standing Committee on Public Accounts, Mr. Songezo Zibi. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Zibi. Anything to expect that's different here, apart from the fact that this is under the government of national unity? Is there anything that you are aspiring to see at all at 2 p.m.?
No, I think it's the need to make choices. So we've got a constrained fiscal environment, but that doesn't mean we should effect spending cuts right across the board, because there are areas in which we need to invest and invest urgently. Firstly, there are the basics, education, health, safety, and so on, where we need to sustain the levels of investment that we have had. Secondly, big area is infrastructure. The government does not have all the funds it needs to invest in infrastructure. So we need to make choices about what is important and what is not urgent right now. If there's one thing I can ask South Africans to look out for in their medium-term budget policy statement, is what the government is going to take seriously. If we continue to see a refusal to make these kind of tough choices, then there's going to be a problem in the medium term. But if different choices are made, and very clear choices, make some people unhappy but invest in the critical areas, then we might have the makings of a good budget in February next year.
Mr. Zibi, what would be the breaking point for the GNU as far as Rise Mzansi is concerned? These are important fiscal policy matters that have to do with jobs, the quality of services, and the cost of living. What would be that breaking point for you to say it's enough for us, we are going? Is this it?
No, the medium-term budget policy statement is an indication of what the government wants to do strategically over the next 3 years. What really matters more than today from a policy perspective is the budget and the extent to which the budget itself reflects the spending priorities over the next year. I mean, from a budget perspective itself, there hasn't been the kind of differences that would break a coalition government. The risk that I see in the GNU is the differences between the ANC and the DA. Everybody else is fine.
Everybody else is fine. We look forward to speaking to you after the midterm budget policy statement at 2 to hear what your views will be. I'm going to bring somebody else, Stephen, who is the chief whip of the surprise of the last general elections, and that is the Umkhonto Wesizwe Party, and that is Mr. Mzwanele Manyi. Mr. Manyi, thank you for your time. What are your expectations? What would you like to see in the MTBPS this afternoon?
Yeah, good morning to you and your viewers. No, actually, we don't expect anything. It's going to be just more of the same. What we have here, what South Africa must realize, is that this whole monetary and fiscal framework of this country is rooted in imperialism and colonialism. So absolutely nothing in terms of helping the people of this country. These IMF and World Bank inspired frameworks have resulted in tragedy in the country. We've seen untold massive unemployment. We've seen Gini coefficient rising to 0.67, which is higher than what it was even during apartheid days. Inequality, we've got the highest inequality in the world under this framework, as it was. So for us, we're saying we're just going to be told more of the same. We expect austerity measures and all of that. So we're again going to be told to be prepared as a country to be poorer again, and there'll be all kinds of measures to soften the blow and all of that. But it's really going to be more of the same. So we're not going there with any high expectations.
What would be the one thing that would change your views if it were to be presented this afternoon? What would be that one thing that would say this government has got some real decision makers, this GNU has some real decision makers that really could change people's lives?
Now, it's worse now with this, what you call GNU, which is in fact a DA-led coalition with the ANC and others. It's not a GNU. But be that as it may, we as the MK party are saying what this country needs is massive industrialization. We need capital formation, because if you invest in infrastructure and all other capital formation projects, you are actually investing in the kind of things that themselves create jobs, the establishment of factories, industries, and all of that. That's what this country needs. What we're having now with this DA-led ANC coalition and others, you have a deindustrialization. You have President Ramaphosa proudly saying 28 million people are on social grants, and he's not worried about this. He's actually proud of that. We've got more plans about how many more other people must go into the 350 space. So indeed, you have a government here that is creating a nanny state. You have a government here that does not see that people in the country want their dignities preserved. And the dignity of the people is people to work for themselves. So if you don't have a government that has got a vision that is decolonial in its approach, you're going nowhere. So this DA-led coalition has got no semblance of being decolonial. If anything, they actually want to entrench colonialism. So with the DA in the mix, with the DA leading the ANC, colonialism is actually increasing in the country. Apartheid is increasing in the country. We've seen a mass, the massive illegal immigrants coming into the country. The citizens of this country are actually worse off with this regime than they were before. So we are not excited about this arrangement, and we want to ensure that this DA-led coalition must actually collapse, must fail, in the benefit of the people of South Africa.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mani. The MK Party Chief Whip saying they are not expecting anything from this MTBPS this afternoon, and it is something that they are just here to watch because they wish to see the collapse of this GNU led by the ANC. They are not expecting anything from the opposition benches. We will be back after the break with more news and more build-up from the National Assembly ahead of the 2 p.m. MTBPS by Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana.